Good morning, everybody. How are you all today? I'm good. Anyway, I'm a little discombobulated. You will be hearing a fence being built behind, it's back there. It doesn't really matter if it's behind me or not, but you will hear, hopefully not, sawing and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I got my whole schedule mixed up. And so I am going to be talking about the empath's brain today. I know I touched upon it a little bit last week, but I wanted to explain it because there are a lot of empaths in there. And one, I wanted to just talk a little bit about, oh my God, for all of you who have reading glasses, I swear, I'm like, why can't I see out of these? Because they're disgusting. But the empath's brain is different, and why it's different. So being an empath is, you're extrasensory. I was explaining this to one of my daughters yesterday because I had a really great one-on-one day with her. They're going to be 13, so of course they want nothing to do with me these days. But one of them wanted to walk Green Lake with me, which is the lake by my house, 2 days ago. And then yesterday, the other one, here it is, these are the sounds. The other one went with me on another hike yesterday to Discovery Park, which were two amazing parks in Green Lake for those who are not from the area. But I was explaining to my daughter yesterday, who's a total empath, that that she's kind of extrasensory, right? So it's not only do you feel more deeply, but you also are fine-tuned. It's extrasensory perception in a lot of ways. So your taste is if I explained it to her, if the average person had, we all have these senses, right? Taste, smell, touch, hearing, sight, and then energetically, right, feeling. The average person goes from 1 to 10. If it's theirs, it's a 10. The empath is at 100, okay? And so it's a little bit of, people are always nature, nurture. Which one is it? And with everything, I think that it's both. You're both predisposed to stuff, and your environment also has a contribution in whatever it is, right? And so, my two girls, it's the empath got the empath from me, and then my other twin got the intuition and the dreams that comes from me and my whole mom side of the family. And the empath thing is also both my parents. But anyway, so it definitely comes down. The other way that it shows up is experiencing trauma. And as you all know, my two experienced major trauma when their brother died. And for me, I have childhood trauma. And so what happens is when there is trauma, energetically, what happens is that, you become pretty fine-tuned to the world around you. Okay. And, lots of times, empaths fall into codependent relationships because they are feeling what the other person is feeling, majorly. And so part of that whole growth process is to really learn how to set boundaries, and which I will talk about next week. But really learning how to put yourself first and learning how to move about the world so it's not as overwhelming. So that is what I wanted to talk about on a super high level. But so our brains, though, just because this is how the brain works, are different. Okay. And so there are two main factors that makes our brain super awesome. and super different. One is the mirror neuron system, and I'm always so floored by this because I love being able to incorporate spirituality, psychology, and actual science. So it's not just like, oh, this is just some woo-woo thing, right? So the mirror neuron system, every one of us has the mirror neuron system in our brain, and it is a group of cells that is in our brain that is responsible for compassion, altruism, and empathy. Okay, these cells allow people to mirror emotions. Okay, so we can share pain, we can share fear, we can share happiness, and so it's like when you're talking with another person, right, and they're feeling a certain way, there is that part of your brain on that unconscious level that is mirroring them so that you could hold and have that connection and that compassion for the other person, okay? And so the empath's brain, the mirror neuron system, is actually hyperactive, okay? And because of that hyperactivity, we feel deeply connected to another person, okay? And so I personally think that's super cool. And I also, know that with that, you could absorb, it's like being a major sponge, right? And so you could absorb those feelings without even knowing it. Okay. And then it's just kind of like, those like nasty sponges that you have like on your kitchen sink. I know I am one of those people with the nasty sponges and I'm like, I gotta get rid of it. But like, that's what kind of happens with the empath's energy field. If you're not protecting, for lack of a better word, your energy field. So that's why, especially, everybody needs a soul care system. It's, but empaths especially need a soul care system, right? And it is like, quite honestly, I think it's imperative for everybody's survival to put themselves first and seek fulfillment inside. So like, what is going to help you every day? Like, having that discipline, having that routine, those are really super boring words, but it's like, what is going to fill you up so you could give people the best of you instead of what's left of you, okay? And so as an empath, our energetic sensors are on overdrive thanks to our mirror neuron system, right? And so we absorb even the subtlest of energies and emotions and vibes. Okay, like sometimes I know what my husband is feeling before he even feels it, and then I'm like, yeah, you gotta remember, like, I'm an empath, that's what happens. So there are actually, what am I talking about that? You don't need to know about that right now. Scratch that part. And so, hold on. Here's a fun fact. The mirror neuron system, as like, this could be like one of your little fun facts for the day. The mirror neuron system in empaths is overactive, but an underactive mirror neuron system, do you know what it creates? If you know what it creates, drop it below because I want to hear. And you could like do hashtag replay or whatever. I don't even know if that makes a difference. You don't have to do that. But do you know what it is? If someone has an underactive mirror neuron system, it is a psychopath or a sociopath, which are the same things. They're just, the words are used interchangeably. Also another little fun fact for you. Because sociopaths are known to lack empathy, they're known to lack connection and compassion. So there you have it. There's your fun fact of the day. So the other thing I want to talk about is part of the brain, but it's also kind of part of the mind as well. And that's about the emotional contagion theory. Okay. And so this is super cool. This is a research backed theory and phenomenon, excuse me, that people pick up the emotions of those around them. Okay. Just like a virus. It's honestly like, catching somebody's feelings. Okay. And so, it's like, so if you're at a wedding and everybody, like, the bride is coming down the aisle and, everybody's starting to feel those emotions of like, so happy you could cry, for example, like, that is an example of a group catching the feels, essentially. Another example is like going to a movie and everybody is like, you're feeling the energy of the group. Okay. So that essentially is what the emotional contagion is. And so for empaths who have already this heightened emotional contagion, we, unconsciously, I have notes so I don't forget stuff. We unconsciously mimic facial, vocal, and postural expressions, okay, that from other people. And so, and I've seen this like working with one-on-one clients where, a client will be sitting in a specific way, and then I am unconsciously mimicking them. And then we're like, oh, wow, we're totally like sitting in the same thing, right? That's that mirroring. Okay. And so when that happens, here's the cool part. The body gets feedback about the expressions, about the body movements, about the voice, vocal recognitions, if you will. And so we're getting this feedback, and then we feel what the other person is feeling. Okay. This is a basic survival skill, that we have, that has like stuck with us through evolution. Right. And so that we can synchronize and empathize and ultimately connect with others for our survival. How cool is that? And then again, that contagion is heightened when there's a stronger bond between two people. And so if you're really good at reading other people's behaviors and feelings and being a good judge of your own internal states, and your reactions, and what am I even talking about here? I'm like, does this even make sense? Basically, the stronger the bond between two people, the heightened the emotional contagion. That is what I want to share with you all today. Next week, I'm going to give you a little hint. We're going to be talking about boundaries. And there are 6 major types of boundaries. And if you are watching this, I'd love to see if you know the 6 major boundaries. And if you do, drop them in the chat. Okay, that is all, my friends. I have been painting all weekend, so my nails look like this. And I keep thinking I have like mayonnaise on them or something weird. Okay, that is all. Have a wonderful week. I will see you next week, and I will be in here. Okay, mwah. Bye.